Number 5. This is all about training on a time budget or time efficient training. The rate we're going, we have plenty of questions at the end, so we're good to go. So, training on a time budget. The endurance adaptations that we're after when we're going out training is we want to improve our fat oxidation, so we get better at metabolizing fat as a fuel. That allows us to go longer. We want to increase our mitochondria, these are little powerhouses in the muscle. Again, allows us to make more energy. We want to increase our blood volume like Lance Armstrong did, okay? So all of those things are what we're after when we're going out in endurance training. And the traditional approach to getting these is to do our long, steady training, okay? But you can get these adaptations on a much shorter time frame, as some recent research is coming out with. So one of the groundbreaking studies was by this group here, Burgermaster, and what they did is they took 2 groups of people, and in one group they did 30 seconds, so 30 second maximal efforts, 4 to 6 repetitions of that they built it up over time, and they had 4.5 minutes of recovery. So 30 seconds as hard as you can, 4.5 minutes of recovery. So quite sprint training, okay? You wouldn't find too many Ironman athletes doing that. And then the endurance group, they did 40 to 60 minutes of steady state cycling, essentially, your traditional endurance training. These guys did it 3 times a week. These guys did it 5 times a week. So at the end of the week, these guys got 4.5 hours of training, and they added up the workload in terms of the 30-second bouts, and it equaled 10 minutes. But even if this you take into the whole session time, which is 30 minutes, and do 6 of them, it's an hour and a half compared to 4.5 hours. And the really cool thing is they got the same benefits from doing this sort of training as this sort of training. Okay, so long, steady versus short, repeated high intensity. There's a couple of graphs looking at fat oxidation between the sprint group and the endurance group. They got same increases in fat oxidation. And over here, this is a gene in the body that improves muscle mitochondria production, and they got the same increase whether they were doing sprint training or endurance training. So essentially what happened is the muscles developed similar metabolic adaptations, so they were able to metabolize fat, improvements in that area, with 50% less training over 6 weeks. Okay? Which is remarkable when you think about that, because we've always thought long, slow training to improve our endurance, whereas this is directly found you can train 50% less, not just less, but sprint training and get endurance adaptations, which is extremely cool if you're lacking time. So, short on time, do some short intervals pretty much. Okay, so next session, say anywhere from 4 to 12 30-second maximal efforts with 4.5 minutes recovery. If you're just starting on this sort of a session, that 4 intervals will be enough to make you hurt a lot. If you're well trained, they've found that 12 30-second intervals get performance improvements even in trained cyclists. Okay, so even this is very highly trained people still getting performance improvements from this repeated high intensity training. Another option there is something like 1 minute on, 1 minute off, sort of more traditional, sort of short, hard stuff. So just some tips to send you away with. If you're short on time, do short, hard intervals, pretty much. It's good to do indoors, okay, so you set up your stationary bike inside and just jump on there for 20 minutes. 4 or 5 30-second intervals, 4.5 minutes recovery, jump off, you're done, okay? It can be good to split your time in half, so if you've only got an hour but you've got 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, don't think, oh, there's no time to train. Short, hard in the morning, short, hard at night, get the same as doing a 1 hour session. The key things to focus on is maximal intensity, and that's the real clincher. people often don't want to push themselves hard because it hurts a lot, okay? But you can get the benefits from it, so why not? You still need to do some long, steady sessions in there, okay? Over the long term, we start to miss out on some of those endurance adaptations, so you still have to have some long stuff, but that's what the weekends are for. So short, hard in the week when you're busy at work. Once you've got a little bit more time, get out, clock up those endurance miles as well. And if the athlete's a younger athlete or quite new to the sport, it's still really important to get more focus on that continuous steady training as well as that skills and technique. So this is not a, this is what we're going to do from now on, replace everything. This is a use it sometimes throughout your training.